Hello and welcome to my channel, to my very first YouTube video. My name's Allie and I am a knitter based in New York City, hence the noises outside. I've been knitting for about 2 years, but the first year of that, the only thing I knit was the novice sweater by Petite Knit. I think it took me about a full year to complete that project. And during that year is when I discovered knitting YouTube, and I love watching knitting YouTube. I watch a lot of knitting podcasts and knitting videos, and I don't know, I don't really have anyone to talk to in my real life about knitting, so I thought I might join knitting YouTube, talk to myself, you all, the internet, about knitting. I do sew and quilt a little bit. I won't be talking about that too much on this channel, but it might find its way in every now and again. I think I would like to make a variety of videos. I want to do more chit-chatty type videos. I want to do podcasts, maybe some project vlogs. I'm not totally sure yet like what this channel will look like, but I do know that I will be making a podcast as my second video. But that felt a little too intimidating for my first, so I decided that today I am going to talk you all through my August and September 2025 knitting plans. Well, the last 2 weeks of August. It's August 16th today. So the last 2 weeks of August and September knitting plans for this year. So if that sounds good to you, I hope you'll stick around for this video and whatever else is to come later down the road. So I've got my laptop with some notes and the images I'll be referencing down here, so I'll be looking down a lot. So I wanted to give some background context on, I guess, how I knit or plan my knitting. So I find it a lot easier to think of my knitting in 2-month seasons rather than like a full 3 or 4 month season at a time. It just feels way less overwhelming to me. And 2 months is also about how long it takes for me to finish a sweater and maybe 1 or 2 smaller projects. So it just makes more sense for me to plan that way. I also am someone who does need to plan because I will get so easily distracted by like shiny new projects on Ravelry or something I see on Pinterest or Instagram, and the next thing I know, it's 3 months later, I have 9 patterns, I bought about 17 balls of yarn, and no finished projects because I just couldn't get myself to cast on anything. So I need some structure and guidance, I guess, in order for me to actually enjoy knitting, because I can easily get distracted and my mind will just go all over the place and I won't end up starting any projects. So that's why I plan in 2-month periods. And I did also want to note, because today I am talking about my plans for August and September, so I wanted to say that I am not really a seasonal knitter. I won't knit a 100% wool, like bulky weight yarn sweater mid-July, but I wouldn't cast on a linen tank top mid-August, because by the time I finish it, it's mid to late September and it's too cold to wear it. So then what do? I'm like just folding it up and saying, okay, go to the back dark corner of my closet, see you in May. Like, that feels sad. I just want to be able to wear my knits as soon as possible. So for me, I think my version of seasonal knitting is knitting items that will align with the weather or temperature when I think I'm going to finish them. Does that make sense? So like right now, end of September, I'm planning projects that I'll start wearing end of September, early October. So it's not going to be like a linen tank top. That's going to be a sweater. So yeah, I think I've rambled enough. So let's just start with my planning. which the first part of it is my mood board, which I'll pop up on the screen somewhere, there. So I start my planning on Pinterest, just pinning like any random images that speak to me to a board called Knitting Plans. And then when I feel like I've like pinned enough, or I don't know, whatever, I'm good, I'll look through the board for any common themes, I guess, throughout the pictures I've pinned. And then remove any pins that I'm like, I don't really like that. And then I will take all the remaining images, dump them into some, like a board on Canva, presentation? Is that what you call it? I don't know, a document on Canva. And then I'll make a lovely little mood board, which is what you see. Maybe it's over here. So that's what you see here. So this board kind of summarizes what I'm thinking about knitting for this 6-week period, 6-week season of August and September, which I think it to me kind of has like 3, you can kind of see there's 3 themes, ideas, threads, categories, something, I don't know what to call it. But I think those are big sweaters, accessories, and then a color palette, which the color palette is this like plummy burgundy color, a soft cream, and like a chartreusey yellowy green. So today I have 6 patterns, 3 sweaters and 3 accessories, and I'm going to walk through each of the 6. I think let's just start by talking about my big sweaters. So, as I mentioned, I noticed that big sweaters, specifically big sweaters, were a theme in my mood board, which I think upon further reflection, I noticed that I don't really have any big, oversized, casual sweaters. I have a lot of sweatshirts, but I don't have sweaters that I could wear in the same way I would wear a sweatshirt. Like a sweatshirt I would toss on with, I don't know, leggings and sneakers, or jeans and Birkenstocks. Yeah, I think that's kind of my goal with this category. I'd like to make 1 or 2 sweaters that fit in this genre. So the first one on my mood board was this pretty plummy raspberry colored sweater. I think what really drew me to it at first was the color. And then looking at it a little bit longer, I noticed that I also like the fit. It's oversized, but it doesn't look bulky, and it looks like pretty lightweight. The only thing I don't really like from the picture is, I think, the sleeve length, which obviously, like knitting, I can adjust the length of the sleeves that I make on my own sweater. And I feel like the body is a little too boxy, or at least in this picture, it looks a little boxy. So I think I would want something a little more narrow on the body, but still big. So I looked on Ravelry for a pattern that was similarly lightweight, and to do that I searched, I think, fingering weight or light fingering weight yarn. I added a filter for a crew neck because I would want mine to be a crew neck, and then under fit I think I clicked oversized, because I do want my sweater that if I were to make this sweater, I would want mine to be oversized. And the pattern I found that I think I would make to recreate this sweater is the Michaela sweater by Morica Knit. So this sweater is knit top down, starting with the body and sleeves. I think you do some short rows, and you finish by picking up stitches for the neckline. I love that this pattern has a looser gauge, so if you look closely, I'll put a picture, it does have like a looser gauge. It's a bit more open and airy, which I really like. I think it makes it look lightweight and probably feel a bit lighter, which is exactly what I wanted. And I feel like this is a sweater that I could wear in the summer on cooler evenings, or in the fall or winter with a layer underneath. This sweater has 7 3/4 inches of positive ease. I think I'm in between sizes based on my bust measurement, so I think I might knit one size up, the larger of the two sizes, if I were to knit this sweater. And the price for this pattern is currently $11.58 US. So I do have the pattern and I do have the yarn. The yarn I'm using is Leonora by Perman in the color Plum, held with Tinsilk Mohair by Sandnes Garn in the color Deep Burgundy. So I have knit a swatch. I have it here. I'll insert a video of this. Both of the yarns are silk, wool, and mohair blends, which I think make for a really pretty, kind of interesting, visually interesting fabric that has actually a bit of depth to it. I think it's because the colors are similar, but they don't fully match. And the silkiness from the Perman kind of gives it like this nice shiny sheen. So I really, really like how this looks. And it seems like a pretty easy knit. I feel like it's something I could get done relatively quickly. I think if I were to cast it on this week, I definitely would be able to finish it by the end of September. But there is one other sweater that I want to cast on and make decent progress on before I start the Michaela sweater. And that is the second project in this video, which is a cream polo sweater inspired by this image. So this is a polo sweater by Baba, which is a Spanish knitwear brand. What I like about this sweater, again, is the fit, like the oversized look of it. I like that it is a slightly like chunkier knit, like the yarn does look. So I like the fit, I like the yarn weight, I like the ribbing on the collar and on the hem and the sleeve cuffs. So what I searched for, or the filters I used on Ravelry, were, I think it was like collared, I think sweater, pullover sweater, I think under collar I put collared, a DK weight or heavier yarn, and set in sleeves. And the pattern that I chose is the Toffee sweater by Cozy Knits. This is a top-down knit in the round sweater with set in sleeves, and I'm not sure how much positive ease it has. I think it has about 7 or 8 inches of positive ease, so I would probably knit one size larger, maybe 2, because I definitely want a much bigger fit than is shown in the pattern pictures. The Toffee sweater is knit in a light fingering yarn held with 2 strands of lace weight to make a DK weight yarn, and it is on Ravelry for $8.41 US. I do also have this pattern and yarn, as I mentioned. I do want to cast this sweater on ASAP. The yarn that I'm using is Knit Picks Woolen Cotton in the color Bear, which I think is just their undyed yarn colorway. And it is 50% merino wool and 50% cotton. So I like that blend. I think it gives it a little extra warmth for the fall. So my idea, my vision is to maybe cross stitch some different little emblems or motifs on this sweater. I saw, I don't know the brand, is it Etro? I think that's the brand. I saw a sweater of theirs that was really similar to this one. It looked like it was kind of like a chunkier knit polo type of sweater. And it had these big floral cross-stitched motifs on it. I'll put a picture if I can find it. There's a siren. I hope you don't hear that. What was I saying? Oh, so I saw it and I thought that looked so fun and so cool, and especially because I want this to just be kind of like a casual grab and go sweater. It's going to be just a ginormous piece of white fabric. I thought maybe adding a few cross stitch elements to it could be fun, and I'm not totally sure what. At first I was thinking, oh, maybe I would do like little New York emblems, but that seemed like too much and a little kitschy. And then I thought, oh, maybe I'll just do different flowers. But yeah, so TBD, I really don't know what I would cross stitch on it right now. I need to cast on the sweater and finish it first before I decide on that. But if you have any ideas of what to cross stitch or any patterns or charts that you like, please let me know. I've only done one cross stitch project, and that was, I want to say, during COVID, so 5 years ago. Yeah, any advice you have, if you've ever cross stitched on a knit sweater before, do you have any tips, or just any ideas at all are very welcome. So that is my little vision, my, I don't know, modification, my fun idea. So we'll see what happens there. But that is the second sweater. And the last sweater on my mood board is this green and white, kind of like marled, oversized rolled hem sweater. Again, I like the size, the look, the fit. I love the colors. I love the green and white together. It doesn't seem like too much of a contrast to me. I think it looks really pretty. And I like the rolled hems. I think it gives it this like kind of effortless casual look that I would be going for with this kind of grab and go sweatshirty sweater look. The only thing I dislike and would modify or would look for in a pattern is split hem at the like side seams at the hips, because my hips are my widest part. So when I wear sweaters that just kind of go straight down, they grab on my hips and kind of bunch and move and yuck, they get kind of weird and I get the ick and it's just gross. I just don't like how they fit me on my hips when they're straight down and long. So I will usually either make my sweaters slightly cropped, or I'll give them a split, like side splits in the side seams, so they don't do that weird grippy bunchy thing that is just not flattering at all on my body. I know I won't even get around to knitting this sweater in August and September, but if I were to knit a sweater like this one, which hopefully I still want to in October, I think this would move to the top of the list. I think I would use the Affogato sweater pattern by, don't know how to say this name, Tonya Hodney. It's on the screen. This is a top-down stockinette sweater with slits at the, whatever you call it, where I was just saying, at the hips. So this is knit in a bulky weight yarn held with a fingering weight yarn. So I do think this would be a really quick knit. And I really don't think I would make any changes. The only thing I would think about is maybe doing fully stockinette instead of the ribbing, just to get the rolled hem, like rolled edge look that I like in the inspo pic. But I do like how the ribbing looks on this sweater. So I think that would be a game time decision when knitting it. And the price on Ravelry right now is $7.67 US. Again, there's literally no chance I'll get to this project in the next 6 weeks, so I haven't even thought about what yarn I would use, but I really hope that this sweater finds its way to my October and November knitting plans. So I will definitely be thinking about it a bit more in depth later on in September when I'm planning for those months. So those are the 3 sweaters that are on my August and September Dream Knits knitting plan wish list. And now I'm going to be quickly talking about 3 accessories. So the first accessory I want to knit is a bandana. And I found this image on Pinterest that when I clicked on it, it linked me directly to the knitting pattern for it. And this pattern is the Low Key Bandana by Low Key Bold Knits. It is just a triangle scarf, triangle bandana in this like lacy, eyelet-y, meshy pattern, knit up in a sport weight yarn. And I think that this is a super versatile pattern or accessory item because I think you can wear it in your hair in the summer, like as an actual bandana to keep your hair out of your face. But in cooler months, you can fold it a few times and wear it around your neck as a little scarf. And another reason I chose this pattern is because I have never done any lace work, knitting. So I'm really interested to try it. And I think that this seems like a really feasible project for me. It's not so intimidating. It's smaller. It's not like a full sweater. It doesn't have like 40 different strands of yarn. So I think it could be a really great project for me to try like lace knitting for the first time. And to make it even better, it is a free download on Ravelry. So I will definitely be casting this on. I have not decided what yarn I want to use yet. I think I'm torn between a cotton merino blend and a 100% cotton. But I do think I'm leaning towards the cotton merino blend because I see myself wearing it more as a scarf than I do in my hair. So yeah, we'll see if that makes it onto my needles, but I think it would be really fun and it's free. I love that it's free. My next accessory is a bag, which I know this is my first video, so you know nothing about me. But the fact that I want to knit a bag is pretty shocking to me because I've never really seen a knitted bag that I think I would carry. I've seen ones that I like and that I think are pretty, that other people have made that I think look great on them, but I've never seen a knitted bag that I thought I would wear until I saw this Bottega Veneta bag. So this bag popped up as an ad on my Pinterest, and I thought it looked really interesting. So I decided to go on the hunt for a knit bag on Ravelry that I would wear. What I liked about this Bottega Veneta bag is that it kind of had, I don't know, this hammocky, kind of banana-y shape to the body of it. And it's not super big, it's a shoulder bag, so it's not huge. So those were kind of like the two things I was trying to keep in mind when I was looking for a bag pattern. And the bag pattern that I found and actually really, really like is the Petra bag by Agio Knits. Info is here. So this bag is knit in a teddy yarn held double, and then it is felted, which is a technique I've never tried before, but I am super curious to try it after watching AKA Nora Knits felting journey with her stitches sweater. So I think she's kind of inspired me to want to try to felt something. And the felting of it, this bag also kind of reminds me a little bit of shearling, which I think is fun for winter. I don't own anything shearling. I don't think I ever would. But this bag kind of has like a similar vibe to that. And I also like that this bag has a leather strap instead of a knitted strap. You can knit the strap, but you can also order the leather strap from some, I don't know how to say it, some Danish website. I'll put the link here. And I think the leather strap makes the bag feel a little more elevated and not as like craftsy as some other knitted bags that I've seen. And this bag is, I think, just shy of $5 on the designer's website. My final project is more of a kind of scrappy project, and that is scrunchies. I think it's a super easy project. You could do solids, stripes. I think it'd be really cool to do like the boucle yarn from the bag striped with maybe like this, the plummy purpley color, burgundy colored yarn. Like stripes as a scrunchie would be really cute for fall and winter. I think, like I said, it seems easy. They seem like things you could just like knit in an afternoon and then just like have a bunch to give out as like gifts or stocking stuffers or like gifts for friends' birthdays, just like little things to have around to give out. I really like that. So I do not have a pattern for the scrunchies. However, I think I've watched like 2 or 3 YouTube tutorials and it seems pretty easy and like intuitive. It seems like you just knit a tube and then you insert the hair tie and seam it up. It looks, like I said, like really simple, or like a mindless little activity to do during like a rainy day, or if you're like me, I like a good, easy, like mindless project to work on while watching football in the fall. So scrunchies seem like just like a really fun, easy, random little project to do here and there. I might just try to do them like sporadically throughout the rest of the year with any scrap yarn that I have. And I think that's it. That is my last project. So again, out of the 6 projects I mentioned today, I think my top 3 priorities are the Toffee sweater, the Michaela sweater, and the low-key bandana. And maybe a scrunchie or 2 if I get around to it. I'm not too confident I'll get to all of these projects over the next 6 weeks, especially since I have a few projects from the summer still lingering on my needles right now that I hope to wrap up. But in a dream world, I would cast all of those on and finish them over the next 6 weeks. So I think that's everything. You can find me on Ravelry. I'll put my Ravelry and Pinterest and Instagram down below. And yeah, I think my next video will be a classic knitting podcast, and I think I'm gonna try to film it maybe tomorrow, because I do really want to try it out. So maybe that'll be up in a couple of days, I don't know. And yeah, I think that's everything. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.